Parental influence in a Christian community affects the way children socially develop in a good way. Parents teach their children the effects and things they need in a Christian community, and they help grow up to be a mature adult. Many parents like to sit down and teach their children and be there for them, develop in the right way. Good afternoon. My name is Nina Gehring. My research question is, since 2000, to what extent does parental influence in a Christian community affect the way children socially develop? My argument is society, like friends and video games, has more influence over children socially versus the Christian community. My claims are sociological adjustment, where a condition of a person who is able to adapt to changes in their physical, occupational, and social environment. Problem behaviors, where we see how and where the children behaves from the parental influence, and interpersonal skills, which are the skills we use every day when we communicate and interact with other people, both individually and in groups. Modeling their religious beliefs, as well as verbalizing them, play an important part in the child's view of God. And it also has been found that participation in the church life of the congregation and service projects are also is also a big part of the development of the children's faith development into the adolescent years. There is clear evidence that parents can and do influence children. There is equally clear evidence that children's genetic makeup affects their own behavior, characteristics, affects, and also influence the way that they're treated by their parents. Twin and adoption studies provide a sound basis for estimating the strength of genetic effects, although their inheritability estimates for a given trait vary widely across samples, and one estimate can be considered defensive. Each process can express itself in a constructive and destructive way. On the other hand, greater religious attendance and overall of religion tends to be tied to the formation of traditional family bonds and the maintenance for traditional family ties, and higher religious attendance and importance of religion stabilize marriage. Some may have behavior issues, but others may have almost been perfect. In a Christian household, the parents tend to encourage their children to be open up with them in an early age and be appropriate with everyone they meet. Child and adolescent physiologists must approach for all of their work under the presumption of multicultural, particularly of a broad definition of culture is chosen that is not limited to either ethnic or racial makeup, but rather one that embraces the variable values, attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors shared by people, and that is transmitted between generations. Looking at the bar graph above, you can see that for the frequency of parents contracted by school over child's behavior and problems, if you look to the bar on your right, over never have been religious practice, parents can get more contracted by the school than other students have weekly and monthly who have been practicing religion. Parents can and do influence children through their religious ways. Children's genetic makeup affects their own behavioral characteristics and also influence the way they are treated by their parents. Egerson's theory of ego development stated that the ego, which is the center of each person's individuality, could not be understood in isolation from the others in the wider world around it. Research has also been done in the way that a person's faith develops. If you look at the visual above, you can see 7 important social skills for kids. Children tend to socially develop better when around their friends, parents, and cooperating with other students and other children. And you can learn that what you need so you can be a mature adult by the time you grow up and to be one. To conclude, since 2000, to what extent does parental influence in a Christian community affect the way children socially develop? Based on the evidence and research, parents teach their children the effects and things they need in a Christian community and help grow to be a mature and one of God's creations. These are my researches. Thank you, and what questions do you have?
2 questions I have for you. Was there evidence that you gathered that you didn't use, and then why didn't you use it?
There was many evidence that I did not use because some things didn't go with the claims that I collected with the rest of the evidence, so I did not use it.
Okay, and what advice would you have for other researchers in the future that consider this topic?
The advice I would use is maybe look for more of religion on Christians and see what the parents like to do for their children and just look more deeper than what